This is a Poet Punch podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Freaky Feige.
Hello.
Hello. All right, so it's me, Nat, and there's Tom,
Hello.
but also
Hello.
Yeah,
It's
we have a
Ru.
guest. We have a guest
now,
today.
depending on when this airs, there may be Saturday. Oh wait, it will be the 14th.
This is so.
Never
this,
mind.
It's
So
okay, I'll do my
tomorrow
plugs at the end.
maybe might be the
This is
premiere of Saturday Night Drive.
This is
Yeah.
a Valentine's Day special.
It is.
essentially.
Oh fuck.
So we
yeah.
brought all of our loved ones together,
also a
the
Captain
company
America
board
one.
associates.
Yeah, this is technically a board meeting.
It's-
No, it's not. That's not how board meetings
It
work.
is. You've got all
we
of us
can't
assembled in a
let
room.
them
It's a
know
board
how small our
It's not
team
like
is.
It doesn't.
it's like the kind of shit where it's like, no, the vice president and the president can't be in the same room at the same time.
Yeah, but there's three of
'Cause
them. instead of
otherwise-
They
two.
can't. But how
There's
do they
like a
talk to
thing
each
where
other?
no, it's
Over
like
the phone.
specifically when you're in an emergency,
Yeah.
they can't be in the
oh.
same room because
I
if the
thought you
same
meant,
room
like,
gets
ever.
attacked, then there's no form of government.
I was like, but they've been in the room together so many times.
Yeah.
I appreciate you
never see
guys
each other.
in honor of the release of the new Captain America film, bringing on
Yeah.
your token American so that you feel like
Yeah,
you
no,
have...
it's true.
That was
It's true.
definitely-
It's actually
that
what we
part was
did.
planned,
Yeah.
We had our last episode, Captain Britain,
Yeah.
where we got to represent our true values.
We did. All of Britain.
Yeah, I
All of
haven't
it.
heard that episode, but I imagine it was like an epic tale of how they took over like 40% of India.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Something like that.
So, the character that we have decided upon is Captain America. Not Steve Rogers,
Yeah, I
Mhm.
figured.
not Sam Wilson,
Mm-hmm.
not Bucky Barnes,
Mm-hmm.
but a little character called William Burnside. Now let me give you a little history lesson.
Okay. That's not
In the real life 1950s,
Yeah.
after the
He's
war,
not the British are coming people, is he?
No.
No, that's someone else.
maybe, I don't know, but
Maybe.
I don't know my American
I
history.
don't know
entirely
American
possible.
Apart
history
from
very
this,
well.
apart from my Captain American history.
Contrary to popular belief, I studied history in this country. So
Yeah.
I just
Real.
know like a little bit about the British Empire.
Yep, that
Yeah.
is a
Yeah.
bit. So anyway, after the Second World War, Captain America's whole reason for existing, being like getting Americans against the Nazis and things like that, had kind of disappeared. And the
Yeah.
need for Captain America had kind of dwindled. And so his
fucking
his
Vietnam.
worldview in the comics suddenly shifted. And he became very anti-communist, very like
Okay,
kill
so
the
what,
Reds.
Cold War.
He became very pro-America Cold
Mhm.
War. Marvel then quickly realized that this was not a good look for their Captain America. And so
Once you reach the
that's where
21st century,
that's where they created the concept of Captain America being frozen in ice at the end
Yeah.
of the war.
Mhm.
And said that actually the Captain America from the 1950s wasn't Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
He was secretly replaced by a man named William Burnside, who is a bit more of a McCarthyist,
Okay.
like
American,
smash the
yeah.
Reds. In fact, his literal
Interesting.
name is Commie Smasher in some.
That's such a fucking funny. That
So-
sounds
I need
like
to get my little wiki.
that sounds like he loves communists.
He's not on the Marvel wiki, weirdly.
No, he's not. But
Yeah.
he'll be somewhere on
Could
the
be.
he's on
internet.
he's on Wikipedia,
Also,
which is what I
side note,
have
I
open
only
now.
like the Captain America being frozen in ice so that he doesn't have to deal with communism and stuff is very funny to me because, like,
It's the
do you think
Minions.
Captain America and the Minions were frozen in
Yeah,
the
it's the
same ice?
Minions
Because
all
that's
over
how I
again.
personally like to
They
think
share
of
the
it.
same ice cube.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the Minions are hiding away from the idea of being involved with the Nazis.
Captain America
Well-
kills
well-
Red Skull, and they're like, "Oh,
Yo,
well,
wait,
Yeah.
that was the evil
wait, that'd
guy."
be so funny where he, like the Minions just break out of the ice after World War II.
As
and
America-
then
as
as Captain America is
goes-
crashing
No, him
into
crashing
the
is
ice.
what crashing is what
I'm
gets
gonna
them
write a
out.
little note for
Yeah.
myself. Include Minions in this film.
Yeah, man. We need to make the Minions canon.
So
You know, like Mortal Engines? Like the movie version of Mortal
Well,
Engines?
that movie made the concept of the Minions movies canon. I'm talking about
Yeah,
the real
I know, but it's still like,
I
the,
also
why the
don't
fuck
want,
is there
I
a
also
Minion
don't
here?
want to talk about Mortal Engines ever.
I love the books. The books
Matt
are
and I
actually
are
really
engine
good.
Imagine
enthusiasts,
reading
so
books.
we kind of love when our engines are mortal. Go listen to Second.
When you're like, no, like when you read the book at the beginning, you're like, holy shit, what's happening? There's a city on wheels. What's that? There's a bigger city, and it's about to eat the other fucking
That
city.
does sound pretty cool. I haven't seen the movie.
I haven't
It's
seen it either.
sick.
So
it's
why
a
are you
sick.
talking
No,
about
so
it?
the concept doesn't get me at all.
Well, you're boring.
If
It's
they
just-
turn into robots, I would
From
understand.
my
but-
understanding, it's just Mad
I'm
Max
sorry.
but with more people on
I'm
the
sorry,
things.
fucking cities on trackpad, like on big fucking like
Yeah, imagine if
tires
Transformers
aren't cool,
turned
but,
into-
like,
I'm sorry, when I
big
saw
robot
look,
is
look,
cool.
Doctor Who did it best with the entirety of Great Britain on the back of a star whale, alright?
All right, cool. We've
That's
racked
pretty
up
cool.
our
You were
virgin
right.
points for today. Let's.
Sorry, let's talk about...
I'm sorry.
Let's talk about
I'm
the
sorry.
real
Are we being too
sex
dorky on a
advert, yeah.
Marvel-based podcast?
Yeah. This is going to be a lot of editing work for me.
Okay, you fucking nerds,
That's
I
true.
say as I guest star on a Marvel-based podcast.
You're so right.
You're not better than us, Ru.
I'm drowning
Why-
you out with clapping noises.
It just sounded like they were agreeing with her.
Yeah.
Damn it!
Yeah, you're right, audience.
Alright. So, I'm proposing that we...
Who to?
I'll kill you.
I will not respond to that. I put forward that we get on with trying to find a plot for this.
Yeah, man.
Because
Okay, so
I think
William
there's definitely a
Burnside.
story in this whole, like, by the way, he is racist, by the way.
What is his name again?
okay.
William...
Burnside.
Yeah, give me a
oh, wait,
lowdown
is
on his
Is
character.
he the one that, like, joins the KKK? Was it something like that?
Allow me
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
I hope the answer is yes.
He, yeah, so...
Guys, just
I
like,
spoiled
oh,
it, I'm
we
sorry.
really
So I
want to
told you-
work
so I
with this
to- so I
racist
told-
character. Let's get our one person of color on the.
So I told you
to
enough
the end.
about his origin being he's the fake Captain America that like America puts forward when Steve Rogers has gone missing, and they're like no one really knew what Steve Rogers looked like anyway because there's no internet, so they won't notice.
Oh yeah, but
But-
didn't they have posters of him? Oh,
yeah,
but he was wearing the
like, he's wearing the
mask.
he's wearing the helmet thing,
yeah,
so he's fine.
and he was just kind of like
So,
a white boy.
Anyway, I'll read the final paragraph of his little story on Wikipedia, which is in a later storyline, the character was given a new white costume and the title The Grand Director.
Oh, no.
This is so.
At least he's not the Grand Wizard.
He was altered
the-
to be a villain
got
and
the
a leader of a
director.
group of white supremacists.
That is such a. Okay, well you're not.
At least it's
fucking
not the
beating
exact
out.
word.
What did you say? Sorry.
You
At
legit.
least it's not
you're
Grand
just,
Wizard.
the copium is so real with you because
Hey,
it sounds like Elon didn't do the fucking fascism
and then he
symbol. He
adopted
did
a
the
new
Roman
persona,
salute.
Spooky
Guys,
Ghost Man,
let-
and
let-
it was definitely had nothing to
Let
do
us
with
not
the
forget
clan.
he did make graduation. All right, like
He did actually make graduation. He made graduation in 1952
What is graduation?
because he
it's
graduated
the
from
Kanye West
university.
album.
Tom was doing a Kanye West joke, and
Oh,
then
I thought I was still talking about Elon Musk. I was
No.
like, what the fuck
Elon
did
Musk
Elon?
hasn't graduated from anything.
is he not?
No, he has a
has
bachelor's
degree, surely.
bachelor's degree, but it's not in engineering.
Oh my god, I can't believe
What does he have a bachelor's degree in?
Oh, I'm not going into this now.
No, I want to know.
Oh, I actually want to know.
Fine. Maybe it is in
Beautiful,
engineering.
beautiful
actually.
silence and typing.
Yeah. Hello.
Proper British podcast. It's meaningless.
It's
Bachelor of Arts in Physics and Bachelor of Science in Economics.
That's so funny. No, that's actually so funny. That is the
That's
most
such a
useless
fake-
combination of things.
It's really nice knowing I have more qualifications than Elon Musk.
Yeah, no, like actually.
No, it's actually horrifying.
Well, yeah, it is, but like,
BA in
and-
physics is such a beautiful
Yeah.
like sentence. Like it's the
like
most
an-
meaningless thing
yeah.
I've ever heard.
Hold on now, I have an A level in physics, right? Let's not be funny.
No,
here.
an A level in physics is at least like
yeah, I
because
suppose.
like there is only one option.
well,
really.
it's more
Yeah.
just the fact that he has a BA in physics and then that's it.
Yeah, that you didn't get
It's
the
like
master's.
usually
Yeah.
people.
Like,
I
at
mean,
least
I
the
won't knock
masters.
anyone
Well,
for
he's
their.
also-
I have a master's degree in
he's
film.
also-
I'm not gonna fucking.
He's
judge
also the
anyone.
top number 9 Path of Exile player in the world.
Yeah, but he's not really.
He's not really.
All right, let's move away from the political commentary and go on to this white supremacist.
And then go on to the
Captain
white
America.
supremacist guy.
Sorry,
Mr.
we just
McCarthy.
and I just can't not talk about cars related
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, where does Meta get into
No,
this?
we do need to talk about Tesla, but that's like a completely other.
Oh, we
thing.
do need to talk about Tesla and car. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's
Right.
not workshop our other podcast on
Yeah,
this
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah, yeah. Focus.
Yeah, right. Listen up.
Uh-huh.
So, I propose that we do a movie that's very similar to the first Captain America, the First Avenger, but it's about like America picking the worst possible.
Can I also suggest it's very similar to a certain show Tom and I are a fan of called The Rise of Hitler. Like structurally, where we just follow this little guy going through shit and then reacting to it.
I think like showing a person's like descent,
slow
into,
descent,
like, because like
one thing I would say,
yeah,
is I think we have to make this significantly different from the other time.
From John Walker.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was literally about to say that. I think that the difference is that John Walker isn't a bad guy. He's just the wrong pick for Captain America.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas this is somebody who is like, hey, if you try to seek out the most 1950s, like, if in the Captain America movie, they got their pick for the army got their pick.
Yeah,
who would get
pretty
the
much.
Super Soldier
He
serum.
is kind of, in a sense, technically the epitome of American values. Brackets negative.
Yeah.
Versus Steve Rogers, where
Steve Rogers
he is the epitome of American values, but like the actually good American values.
I think it's also worth giving grace to, like, because like especially now, I feel like a lot of people see their political opposition as just this like faceless blob of the wrong idea. I think it's also worth talking about how people fall into these pitfalls of
because he's gone through it if you think about it, because like he started his career in 1952 or whatever in the comics.
So what do we know about him?
Because like he doesn't immediately start off to be a white supremacist, basically a Klansman
I think it's
guy.
worth sort of like beginning with his not even necessarily childhood, but his sort of the struggles that led him to fall so easily into the pitfalls of radicalization.
He basically starts in the early 50s. Okay. So what I would do is that we also have, if you cast your minds back to the Falcon and the Winter Soldier TV series,
sure,
of course,
you also have the other people who were tested on for getting the Super Soldier serum.
I forgot about that completely.
So
wasn't
you have,
it one of?
let me find his name.
I was too busy staring at Sebastian Stan's
wasn't one of the guys? Wasn't part of it that
they tested on black people? Essentially, is the Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I fucking forgot. Oh, that was actually a really good episode.
That was quite smart. Yeah.
I did really like that show.
I do like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think that one is actually one of the smarter Disney Plus shows.
It is right up until the end.
I
ending
agree.
is a little
the final
bit. They
episode
didn't know
is
how to end
one
it.
of the worst episodes that Marvel's made of anything.
I think it's definitely one of those things where it's like they clearly didn't know how to end it, because it's the kind of thing where they've decided to like touch on and then bring up an issue that hasn't been solved in real life.
They basically like escalated the status quo of a lot of different things in terms of like the non-fantasy stuff going on in Marvel, and things are now actually getting surprisingly political in the MCU timeline.
But it did.
And then
it
they're
did
like,
sell
fuck,
me on.
we can't do it.
Yeah, it did sell me on this upcoming movie that I don't know if I wasn't friends with Tom, I would have been interested in.
I actually don't know if I would have gone. Unless if you
I have a weird relationship with Captain America where like I didn't have any interest in him because my mom was an Iron Man fan, so I grew up on Iron Man films.
Right.
And then I didn't see Winter Soldier for a while. I can't remember why. I didn't see Civil War because I asked a guy out to see Civil War with me, and he rejected me in front of literally everyone in the classroom at the time, and so I just didn't see it on principle for years. And but like I love Captain America, but I've definitely had to watch the films out of order over time and grow that love on purpose.
You see, like, for me, like, I was not into Captain America in the early MCU when I was growing up at all. I felt like he really was to me.
He was actually like my favorite.
I was like, he's kind of the lame one.
I kind of liked him.
And then, like,
am I the only one that actually
I was personally Chris Evans as Human Torch truther.
Yeah. Right.
And I got to, I think I got to the Winter Soldier, and my little like 13-year-old brain was like,
I remember
this movie is so good.
I still to this day, Winter Soldier is the best movie.
I remember as well because I knew Tom back then. I don't know him now. He disappeared into obscurity after that. But I remember you watching Winter Soldier and talking about it for like the next year after that.
Because it's a great fucking movie.
It's a great
movie. But it's like a great movie that like as a kid who was like just happy to have those movies coming out.
Yeah.
Like it was like I felt that it was something special. Like when
it was
like when that first Avengers movie came out, and it was like, oh, I didn't know that because at the time you couldn't get away with like, oh, all these separate movies suddenly have like a built-in
unless you're on
thing.
Disney Channel.
Yeah. Like a crossover like that in a big budget movie was like
only happens on
of.
TV movies and TV shows, basically.
Exactly. I do miss them though. I kind of wish Disney Channel would do them more.
But anyway, the character I was referring to earlier is called Isaiah Bradley.
The guy in Falcon.
Yeah.
I remember him.
Who's in the trailers.
Yeah, he is.
For the new Brave New World.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
So, part of his whole story is that, like, the American government is testing out super soldier serums on Black Americans and then sending them out into the field and then basically letting them die or whatever. Right. And then when Isaiah Bradley comes back, having saved a bunch of black platoon of soldiers, they arrest him for like breaking orders and whatever, and then he goes to prison for like ages. And then by the time he's out, it like him having superpowers means nothing anymore
because he's just old.
Yeah. And he was testing it in the 50s as well. So I think there's a possibility.
I think he really needs to be involved.
I would love if he was.
So
like
here's a list of people that actually really need to be involved in this. Here's my first big hear me out one, which will make issues. Winter Soldier.
I think you're right.
I think I'm right. And then Red Guardian.
Red Guardian, yeah.
Occasionally. The idea is that they put him on ice and occasionally throw him into the...
I don't know who Red Guardian is.
Red Guardian is from... Have you seen
Black Widow? You'll see him in the Thunderbolts trailers.
Yeah.
He is the David Harbour character.
Yes.
So he's essentially the response... So it works perfectly if you have a Red Scare character to have the epitome of the Russians going, fuck it, I guess we need a Captain America who's like a bit of a failure.
I do love that guy.
But it's great, yeah. So Red Guardian, especially because Red Guardian's now getting more involved with Thunderbolts, you need Red Guardian to be in there.
Yeah.
You need Winter Soldier, at least vaguely, to be just a threat. I feel like Winter Soldier is probably, like, in my brain, initially speaking, he's probably the catalyst event to him escalating.
In what way?
Where it's like, because Winter Soldier's this kind of like entity at that point. He's almost like this fearsome ghost creature for the
like
American, borderline myth. So if he ever just sees one in action, he'll just shit himself because he is definitely like nowhere near Captain America in terms of like.
Oh yeah, that's true. Is William Burnside also super serumed?
Yeah,
okay.
He is. Okay, but like you can be super serumed, and in this kind of equation where everyone more or less has a super serum, it's just, are you good at fighting? Is the next question.
Super.
Because even Red Guardian can do stuff.
Yeah.
Even if he's a drunken idiot.
No, but he's only a drunken idiot in the modern day context. You have to bear in mind.
We would have him in his prime.
Oh yeah, he was kind of reliable at the time.
You have to bear in mind that he was somewhat competent in the like 80s.
And I think that's actually really fun. I love when you get like prequels or things set in the past and you see characters that you know are disasters being completely competent.
Yeah.
You're just kind of like, what the hell happened?
Oh god, what's going to happen to you? We need to see the decline of Red Guardian.
I think his comedic aspect
the decline
after the kids.
The decline basically happens when he gets sent into the gulag.
Yeah.
But I think the comedy of having him be like really honored and competent, like in of itself is
that's quite
fun.
good. Yeah.
So do you think that the catalyst to America being like, we need our new captain, we need Captain America to reappear now?
No, I think
that's too similar to how the show does it.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying more, he gets assigned, he's in the fear. Like, he's on missions now. And the thing that kicks in the fear and the escalation of his radicalization is maybe meeting Winter Soldier for the first time and that kind of
and like losing.
I agree, more in relation to what Tom was asking, I think it's more of a case of what if people are just asking constantly what happened to Captain America, and it's kind of a presidential decision almost to be like, well, we can't tell them the truth or they'll lose hope.
Captain America's been on a secret mission and he's coming home soon.
And then when the Red Scare stuff happens, I think it's just natural that the media would be like, oh, has he been like fighting commies this whole time? And then that's when they're just like, yeah, that.
Yeah.
What you said.
I think, very technically speaking, in canon, people do know that Captain America got frozen under ice.
But that might not be...
So that could be something where it gets revealed later.
Yeah.
And then you have the initial, oh shit, panic of the government.
I think that would be the, like, turning point of this Captain America. Would be him being outed as not being Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
Sure, I'm going to ask the boring questions now.
Right.
Is this a movie or a TV show?
I'd say movie.
I think it's a movie as well.
I think it's a movie as well. I'm glad that we're all agreed.
Yeah.
And then the next question, do we want to roll the dice to see what phase it technically is in?
No, because
or are we just assuming it's a prequel?
Because it's a prequel, so...
We could maybe have an argument for how is this all getting revealed.
I think this
I quite like the idea of this all being revealed in leaked documents.
What do you mean?
Wait, what do you mean?
Oh, wait, no, you can't do that, because just everyone knows.
If it's a prequel, I think it's fine enough that it's just
It's just
what
a thing, a story, rather than, no framework.
Because that's what Black Widow was.
And I think I think this...
No, well, actually, Black Widow is the opposite example of that, because it has a point in the phases.
It's not, Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel's a closer example.
Captain Marvel's a better example, Black Widow's probably the opposite.
But I think that this is more akin to, like... This is showing you... Like, you have to show that he's similar to John Walker in some ways. I think, because that's like an undeniable thing, is that it's the same type of story of the government needs a new Captain America, they bring in the wrong guy for it.
Yeah.
But I think what you can do to separate him from John Walker is absolutely... Because, like, John Walker is kind of an arse, but he's not like, evil. And he makes bad decisions.
Hear me out.
Yeah.
Failed Captain America's Anonymous.
No.
Where that guy
that's hilarious for like an SNL sketch.
Yeah. But I kind of like the idea of those two characters because it is almost history repeats itself.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is I like the idea of the government being less prepared for this, which is why they're reacting to the public going. Well, they just keep pushing it aside with, "Oh, he's on a secret mission," and then when Red Scare shit starts going on, people have more questions about what that mission might be, and they just kind of go with it to fly with the McCarthyism of it all.
And this Captain America's inevitable crash out will be like the catalyst for why they
jump to it later.
But why the government was so harsh with John Walker when he kills that guy publicly.
Yeah.
Because they already know,
they know how this story ends.
If we damage the Captain America brand, it's not just bad. It's not just bad. It's like the type of thing that can ruin a country's morale for
It's almost like you have this character or symbol who is directly tied into one of the strongest nations on the planet. And you've got to then... Yeah.
Because I think we can definitely do the,
Doesn't make me want to rewatch the show now.
We can definitely do the whole,
I'm considering that before.
First act
Friday.
being, the recruitment process for finding this perfect Captain America replacement.
I think I know how
and it being all done in secret, kind of like how when they were trying to screen astronauts, they would take pilots and then they would run them through, tests they didn't quite know what it was for, and you do the right stuff.
I was gonna say just soldiers that were on a similar level, or maybe he's a spy even.
I was spy is what I would. So I would probably do it the same way that the UK used to recruit MI5, MI6 people, which is just casual conversations in bars with high elite Oxford people.
Really?
Yeah, they used to.
That used to be a thing.
It's the same thing with
they'd get you early.
The CIA, when the CIA
or
was invented.
the FBI, even when they just look through existing police.
Or the CIA, where they would take Harvard graduates.
In the guy's story, he graduates from a certain college. It could just be that's his start. Is straight out.
Oh, definitely. I think having him be
almost like a Kingsman style. First, taking the second act of Kingsman, moving it to the first act of this movie, but he kills the dog. He does the
Shield, right? Shield and Hydra.
Yeah.
At this point in the 80s.
Yeah.
I feel like
50s,
there will
50s,
be. Yeah, I feel like there'll be plenty of
we can have Arnim Zola
KKK people
in Shield
who would be in Shield, but realistically working for Hydra. And just kind of being middle management pawns for Hydra, who have other they have plans well beyond let's be racist in the deep south in the US.
Yeah.
Can I propose something? This is
Go on.
completely aside, and it would 1000% be immediately rejected by the executives, but Captain America, Birth of a Nation as the title.
No. I don't think we can even put that on Spotify. No, but you see, I already had the what this should be the Captain America New World Order. This is where we take that title that Marvel already has
and already rejected.
Captain America Manifest Destiny is kind of
and
funny,
we put it. Yeah, Captain America.
Captain
the Red
America.
It's okay, I can say this. My people were
Captain America and the Red Scare.
That's the least problematic title out of all of the options given so far.
Red Scare is pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
But I do like just titling this episode on Spotify just Captain America.
I think we should do it as quotation marks Captain America.
Captain America, but with
we do the
Ks
Thunderbolts asterisk.
Sure.
3 Ks instead of a C. Captain.
No, because that makes us look.
I was already terrified of us just going down a full Black Klansman route for this project.
Yeah, it's okay. You have. I'm the person of color shield that will protect you guys.
It's a thing of like you are the vibranium shield of this episode.
The thing is I think the Captain America Winter Soldier show up until the end did a really good job somewhat skirting the like gray morality thing that like racist people are racist and it's a sort of irrational thing, but it comes from something that is systemically fostered over time. And definitely this is like something that I would want to be very, very serious about making, which is why it probably wouldn't be greenlit as an MCU film because that's way too heavy.
I think they would have gone, we did our time with Falcon and the Winter
Soldier.
Soldier.
Just be like, who the fuck wants to watch this?
Realistically, everyone would be like, no, you didn't. Actually,
okay,
you had a really good start, and then you had the worst, like...
But that's why this works better as a film, because you
that's why this works better as a podcast episode.
You can't have, like, a blowout
you can't be
episode at the end.
You can't be like, do the thing where you're like, oh, well, we focused an entire episode on this problem, and now we don't have to touch it again. It's a movie, so you have to have it.
It's kind of like a theme.
Nothing annoys me more in media than when people sort of try to comment on racism in films and media, and they're so on the nose about it that I just kind of sit there
and
like,
then right afterwards they're like, we did it.
We did it, guys. We solved.
Yeah, do you guys remember that? I forget what, like, it was like a PSA ad campaign that was just like, we need to stop hate. So stop it. And it was like, my sister and I were watching that, like who is gonna listen? Who the fuck is gonna listen to that?
It's always like my problem with these things where it's like, oh man, this is really gonna show them, and it's like,
this will shake things up.
Who is this for? Because the people that aren't racist, they're gonna go, yeah.
In a
and
similar
people who
way,
are racist, they're gonna
I'm
go,
not gonna say
no.
who, but I remember when I was in secondary school and all of those like some people are gay, get over it signs were coming up.
And
then someone was like, isn't this so cool? And I was like, not really.
It's not to the choir.
Context, everyone. I am a trans woman who is bisexual and is from 2 loving lesbian parents, right?
Yeah.
So I think I have a bit of a fucking stake in the gay conversation.
No, I agree. Like, I'm also bisexual.
Yeah.
And so it's a thing of...
I am not.
Tom is the token little straight man.
Tom's our minority card.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, nothing sort of... The thing with those posters is that I see a lot of like pro-LGBT or like inclusivity stuff. I work in a school, guys. Mm-hmm. I like at work and stuff. And it's... What makes me happy is the implication that putting those up doesn't cause like a whole conversation. Yeah. But the actual posters themselves don't do anything. It's just kind of an indication to your subconscious
it's
like,
good
hey,
passive stuff. It's just I hate it when people
also,
are like, we did it.
Yeah.
We
point
solved
it out.
But it also like it also implies
that
like the fact that you need the posters is also its own thing.
And that's a more sort of nuanced like the cultural context and everything falls into that, because it's like, well, for example, in countries where it's like completely illegal, stuff like that makes more of a difference. Mm-hmm. Whereas in our society, we sort of are more accepting of generally just people being
and then
queer.
It kind of feels like a stagnant version of progression, where it's just like we're going to do the exact same thing for like 20 years, where we just kind of say the bare minimum of like
So let's say something real.
Let's say something real here.
My thing is that like in the same way that you kind of have to trick people into being racist and radicalized, whether or not you are the system or someone actively trying to do it, you also kind of have to do that with people in order for them to realize how racist they are.
Yeah.
Because I think we've all had opinions in the past as teenagers where we've grown up and we've been like, what the fuck was I thinking? I was so close-minded. But we've, over time, through exposure, we've learned.
Yeah.
And so this film kind of has to be this guy wasn't born racist, but it's very easy to accidentally become racist.
This is a...
He's like born,
here is a demonstration of the systemic issues through one guy.
Yeah.
I want to... Do you know what unironically did that really well? Did that downfall really well? And I'm going to hate saying this.
Okay.
There is one season of Supergirl.
Mr. Popper's Penguin.
That does it really well with my favourite actor of all time, Sam Witwer.
Yes, I know what he's talking about.
It's the only time they've ever had nuance for anything ever.
In Supergirl.
It's like you see it and you're like, oh my god.
Have you seen any of Supergirl?
Pilot.
Yeah.
Okay,
maybe
for context,
episodes.
Supergirl's the kind of show that like
that would be like, yeah, we
No,
did.
no,
in
I've
reaction
got the context.
to like the cultural zeitgeist of gun control, they got rid of all guns in New York. Canonically.
Yeah.
That's the kind of show
I remember
Supergirl
I
is.
have watched episodes and gone, wow, and then turned it off.
But they actually did it well, where they showed like a character's like descent into like racism towards like actual aliens, but like they do it in a way where you're like, oh, like
you almost don't realize that you're agreeing with them.
This could happen to anyone.
Yeah,
and anyone could fall into this pitfall.
Yeah,
where a few bad things happen to you and your family, and if at the same time this big thing was happening, you would connect the two together, and then you'd be like, God, it's the aliens that took my father's job and killed my cousin or whatever.
How far are we into the recording? Just a mild question.
36 minutes.
Okay, so what I'm going to propose is that we start thinking in acts.
No, not yet.
Because we are broadly speaking, and I've got a good idea for kind of the establishment of how
55. Wait, how many states are in America?
Shut up. 50.
50 act structure.
No, yeah,
one for every state.
Because the 51st isn't a thing.
Are there 50?
Because I thought Trump was trying to make Canada the 51st, so surely there's 50.
Yeah, it's 50.
Yeah.
Damn,
anyway, it's funny that's how I remember right now.
It's 50 states in the District of Columbia.
Right. Anyway, so before can I finish my fucking point?
Yeah.
I'm losing it. Right. So he has a very he pressed the button, little motherfucker. All right. He had a good beginning. If you look at his backstory, in that he was just a fan of Captain America.
Yeah.
Right?
Who is this?
The character.
Oh.
Yeah. You know, the character that we're basing the episode off.
Oh, no. Okay, yeah, William.
So he was just a fan of Captain America, and he seemed like interested in this guy for its true American values or whatever it is, right? And then it's that gradual twisting of those values over time that makes him the little evil prick he is.
You have to have him lose to the Winter Soldier. And the rumors being that the Winter Soldier is a communist spy thing.
Ooh.
Where they're then like, oh my, where he's then like, damn, the communists are trying to one up us at our own game. We have to step up.
I like the idea of him, supposedly having to claim that he's defeated the Winter Soldier
when he's at
like a press hearing right afterwards, and he actually just got like his ass beat completely from this guy.
Yeah,
and then he's like, oh God. But it's kind of like that demasculation that kind of like sets people off sometimes.
Send him on the conspiracy theory path of like, hey, the government lies to you, because that's part of what takes you down that rabbit hole.
Right, because he has just been like a true blooded American patriot or whatever, and then suddenly he sees how the sausage is made inside the government.
Yeah,
because he's become the new Captain America, and then realizing that reality isn't like all like perfect. America's the best. All stars and stripes. Exactly. Yeah. He gets radicalized through that. Through the nothing is really real, and then he kind of goes, well, how do I make America great again?
Oh God!
I'm
I wouldn't possibly go there.
I'm banning that from the.
How do I improve America? How do I make America?
How does America once more become what it was?
Yeah. How do I make it great originally? Because we're not the
It's
against stage.
the past.
Yeah, and the past is where things first happen.
Yeah.
Sorry, my brain fell out of the back of my head when you said that.
your brain just started like scurrying away and like leaving, like walking towards the door to get out of it.
Who is our primary antagonist? Because obviously,
William
Burnside, Captain America, becomes our villain.
How are we seeing this? Because I would argue he is technically
I mean,
a villain, but in terms of like a framework of a narrative, he is our protagonist.
I think he
Yeah,
is.
that's why he needs an antagonist.
But I think we need an antagonist who essentially swaps places with him at the final.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say
Interesting.
it could be worth I don't remember much about the whole like people that were experimenting on people back then thing from the Winter Soldier show. But I was gonna say the scientist that does, maybe he thinks he's special, and then it's a case of like, why are you making quote unquote these people on par with us?
Right, yeah.
No, but they were tested out before, so it's like,
he can still find out.
He might not like the idea that like the serum came from testing on black people, not because it's immoral,
no.
but
I've
because
got a better...
why would you test on them when you should have been testing on us?
I've got a better version of that. So, obviously, they have the first round of it with Captain America where it goes well because they had the original scientist. He is then the second test. And then the black guys from Falcon and the Winter Soldier are like the third iteration on it. So the US government's kind of technically shelved him, quote unquote. And so it's more
job take.
It's more resentment that technically they maybe have a better version of the serum than him, even though he's kind of ignoring the fact that these guys have like had less consent to signing up on this thing.
I think we could...
And that they're being more experimented on and he had more safety checks. It's just that he has a weaker version of the serum.
We could absolutely have Isaiah Bradley be the one who takes him down, but then the US government can't, like, deal with that fact openly yet.
Yeah.
And so sends Isaiah to prison as well.
Well, probably not,
because
there's the reasons within Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Yeah. But I think it's quite a good idea of having Isaiah do this, like, silent mission to essentially get rid of the guy who is kind of becoming a nightmare for the US government, where it's just like, oh, right, okay. But then in another world, we would probably be approving of this racist guy, but he's now become so much of a problem.
But then need to just get rid of him? Do we want the solution to this guy's out of control to be let's test on black people?
Yeah.
No. That's not the solution. I'm saying that's the reason why he has resentment towards black people, is that they're technically the third iteration.
I don't know, because I feel like...
So that's at least a catalyst event, because you always have like the subtext
I think that's a bit of a cop-out in terms of why a person might become racist.
It's not like...
It's too like the black guy stole my girlfriend.
It's not that, it's more like... You are inherently racist. You just need something in your life that makes you think, oh, and they're getting more treatment than me.
Which is why I think it might be a case that maybe he's the one that exposes the Captain America being an ice thing himself as like a breaking point, this government is doing bullshit. Like they're doing this. They're working with the McCarthy's. Back then, it's been a while since I've done my history degree, but if I remember correctly, there were quite a few black activists at the time during the McCarthyism era that were on FBI watch lists because they were openly Marxists. Yeah. So there's like the idea that he can be like, they're working with Marxists and black...
MLK had some Marxist
ties. Yeah. And so...
But it was kind of impossible to be in any circle.
It was basically, if you're in counterculture in the US at that time...
Societally, people were more accepting of the concept of Marxism than the government was. It was a thing of people were very openly activists.
Just like Oppenheimer.
Yeah, sure, just like Oppenheimer.
Just like Florence Pugh in Oppenheimer for 10 minutes. I'm glad that
which brings me to my follow-up. Not to sound like an executive or anything, but I would like it if there was a woman.
Crazy. Hold on. We're already covering racism. We can't possibly have a woman in this.
I think that if anything, it's got to be Peggy Carter as the head of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Peggy Carter would be a great voice of reason throughout this entire thing, saying, "Don't do this. This is stupid," and then not being listened to.
Yeah.
I personally think that the Isaiah Bradley round of tests should be before
him,
William Burnside, because I
genuinely think that my idea has legs, but that's fine.
But the way I see it is that the American government would test first before getting it
that
right.
Does make sense,
and so that you could do parallels with as they're doing their as this William Burnside is going through his training and is doing his physical tests and all of that stuff, they're secretly on another level already testing the serum.
He thinks it's all just him, and then realistically there's this whole framework underneath him,
and there's and part of it can be him being like, wait, who are these people? And it's these are the guys we're testing the serum.
Yeah, and it's also kind of like, what do you mean I have actual counterparts?
Yeah,
like actual people that are technically as equal as me right now in the world.
We should probably also include other races.
Yes.
Kingo.
This is how I earn my keep. Is just I walk in and everyone's like, "Oh my god, brown people exist!" Right?
That's crazy.
There's a Kingo movie showing.
What?
Jesus, no,
from
please
Eternals.
don't talk to me about Kumail Nanjiani's character. In
I
Eternals.
forgot that he was a guy.
Yeah, he's like the only because fucking Miss Marvel's it's Miss Marvel, right?
Yeah,
is great. She's not Indian, so that's like everyone is like, look, we have a South Asian, and it's like, yeah, we do, good job. Can we have more? And then people will immediately cite Kumail Nanjiani, and I'll be like, okay, but like, did anyone watch Eternals?
It's fine, guys.
No, but then nor should they really.
IKEA full collection.
Yeah,
funniest line in Eternals. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't even remember.
What is this desk made of? Vibranium.
I've seen Eternals like 4 times. For context, audience, it's not because I like it. It's because when I first watched it, I was like, "Oh my fucking god, that was awful! Everyone needs to see this." And then I showed like 4 different groups of friends.
Ladies and gentlemen, I came out to my mother
will.
in the same day that I watched Eternals.
Yeah.
And that is the most rancid combination of two things.
Are all of the episodes of your podcast this touching on every social issue ever?
No, it's because you're here.
Yeah,
it's because I'm here. Yeah, I have too many minority cards for them not to be addressed.
Yeah, real.
Yeah.
No, it's because we chose a McCarthy style character intentionally.
It's also because
and then how do we do this?
Yeah. Well, the thing is during the 50s there were also there was like Native American civil rights stuff going on. There was like Red Scare stuff basically amplified every other civil rights issue that was going on at the time, and I feel like growing up in that kind of like, you know, what's it called, not atmosphere,
society.
Yeah, but that's not like environment.
They lived in it.
Like,
they lived in a society.
Push someone who was already bigoted to
an
extreme quite easily. We've seen it all the time. When a thing gets talked about enough, people will get annoyed at hearing about it, and so they will be reactionary towards it.
Taylor Swift.
Like Taylor Swift, where it's just
she
like
was at the Super Bowl.
Or Justin Bieber.
Yeah, like people will just get mad that she showed up on their timelines and as if it's her fault.
Justin Bieber's a perfect example.
Just like somebody who like
literally anyone in the media.
Inoffensive.
I love how we're just trying to talk about serious shit and then we decide like Taylor Swift and Justin Bieber.
It's kind of related though, in a sense where people don't realize that they're being played by the media exposure rather than the person that they think they're mad at, and that is exactly how systemic bigotry works.
We did it. We simplified.
So anyway, this Marvel film.
I think we should.
Now we should start looking at acts.
Just write down acts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's all I ask. That's all I ask everyone.
That's my secret cap. I'm always
writing.
writing.
Act 2 should be Winter Soldier.
Act 2 is
just the whole of the Winter Soldier.
So is Act 1
Act 1 is his initiation into S.H.I.E.L.D., Hydra, whatever, and them kind of preparing him and kind of doing the same thing. Like, it's essentially the same beats in a slightly twisted way from what the first Avenger was with that bit. And then this is essentially Steve Rogers' first mission where he goes and frees Bucky from that camp.
But it's the Winter Soldier.
But it's him going on a mission and it going horribly wrong and the Winter Soldier beating his ass.
Okay, so Act 1 is, I assume, his upbringing in some way.
Less that and more him at college and kind of establishing him as a regular guy who's a bit obsessed with Captain America.
We're establishing the world as well, I think. So if
instead of it being just a straight origin story, it's more him being initiated into S.H.I.E.L.D. is the key concept there.
Well, yeah,
so I think he's somebody. Say he's somebody who graduates in like the 50s. Yeah. He's somebody who is too young to have fought in the Second World War.
Yeah,
but the right age to have grown up with the Captain America trading.
The right age to have seen him in the theaters and be exactly that kid that would be like, "Oh my god, he's saving the world."
Yeah,
as all of the canon stuff in the first Avenger, all the films and shit. Anyway, what I was going to say before all of that was, so instead of him coming back, so like how Steve Rogers comes back in First Avenger, all triumphant when everyone assumed that he was going to die.
Comes back defeated.
Everyone assumes that he was going to win.
Yeah.
And he kind of has to come back with nothing.
Yeah.
And then lie to the American public.
And I think it's a case
climax point.
Maybe he's like truthful to a fault almost. like from the beginning.
I
to
the
the point where it's like
he
won't even give people. He'll be tone deaf in conversations. He won't even give people the grace of like not being like, oh well, you're like this, so this is like this, and so people get offended. And he's ready to tell the truth about how he failed, and it's the government that shushes him.
For sure. It's one of those ones where if he had his way, he would want to tell the truth.
Yeah,
but he can't, and he has to kind of bite his lip. And the more I think about it, there's a really good character to kind of not model off per se, but take a little bit of inspiration from, and it's that guy from Andor. It's that Imperial officer who's kind of like the reverse of Andor.
The guy played by the guy from Inspector Calls.
Because I've been rewatching Andor recently. Yeah. He is just the epitome of, I am a stickler to the rules to such a degree that I am going to compromise my entire branch.
I love that guy.
In seeking out one person who means nothing at this point.
It's the thing of like, you're such a stickler to the rules that you haven't realised yet that the people in charge bend the rules.
Yeah.
And therefore, if you don't play ball with them, they'll just kill you.
Yeah.
Like it's
because he is idealist to a fault.
To a fault. Yeah.
Whereas Steve Rogers kind of embodies American values not because he just read some text.
I think it should also be important. I think it should also be important to remember the Americans during the war didn't actually know what the Nazis stood for.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting
They just knew
fact.
they were bad.
They know the Nazis are bad because they're taking over Europe.
Yeah.
But the reason the American government didn't tell them what the Nazis were was because a lot of Americans hated Jews anyway. And a lot of Americans actually believed in like what the Nazis were selling.
Yeah,
and so they had to be very like. So they would be sold this idea that like
fascism was on the fucking rise at that point. Like everywhere,
like every Western idea that like the Nazis
like
they're trying to kill blonde-haired,
it's just
blue-eyed
like in
people.
Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Well,
you remember Amsterdam?
The King's Speech, like the actual speech that the King's Speech is inspired by, he never straight up says like Nazis. He just says like, oh, this is obviously Britain.
Yeah.
But the king is like, we've been forced into this conflict that if we do not ignore, we will be... It's like a very roundabout way of going, essentially, if we don't fight, then we will probably be forced into their way of running things.
Yeah.
But he never actively says what the Nazis are doing.
But like back then, like national pride was enough to carry you through the idea that like, hey, we do shit our way. You do your shit your way. You tell us how to do our shit your way, or we'll kill you. Like it's like... that.
I think
it's
national
kind of
pride is a great
safe
theme overall for this. So the idea that national pride isn't enough to live off of is a great theme just overall. That's the realization he's going through as a protagonist, and that we in the meta as an audience are going through, where it's just like national pride isn't enough to justify our actions.
Right. Yeah. Sorry, can you repeat that? Because I was halfway through a sentence and then I couldn't finish it, and then I was just thinking about that rather than processing what you were saying.
It's fine. I was saying that like national pride in general as a theme for this, as the sort of thing he realizes I don't know, it like saturates for him almost in a way as like the excuse he's using for everything he does. And for us as an audience, the lesson is essentially national pride isn't enough to justify what we're doing.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, that's good. Why is my brain just completely frozen?
But
what's going on?
We were on
what's going
but we were on this idea that like he understands the so part of an interesting thing to do with the rise of fascism in general is that a lot of it is to do with aesthetics.
Yeah.
And so this can be a person who very much likes the aesthetics of Captain America.
Yeah.
He very much likes the idea of fighting the good fight. And
he likes that he's a star-spangled man with a plan.
And fighting the Nazis because the Nazis are evil.
Yeah.
And I am good. And that's as far as his little brain will let him go.
Yeah.
And when there are no absolute evils anymore, where does someone like that finds an absolute evil in something?
Yeah.
And we can have it be, for him, it's the communists to start.
He needs a defeatable bogeyman in his head. Yeah.
And it should it goes further than the communists. It's not just about them. It's about...
And I think that's a great way to jump up, because like in his head when he's a kid, the Nazis are this easy to kill character for Captain America. and then he thinks when he's going into the field that these commies will be this easy, like, punchable character, and then Winter Soldier claps his ass, and then he kind of looks within,
and then he has to, and
then he just starts kind of attacking people who did not.
How do we want this movie to end?
That would be a great
because it's like, what are we aiming for?
I think, okay, so I like, I'll get to it quickly, but I like the acts 1, 2, 3, and then the climax being, oh shit, Winter Soldier beat my ass. And then I like Act 5 being the aim, where it's essentially, now it's the flip side with what's-his-face, the character.
Bradley.
Yeah, so it's now kind of, once we start getting into Act 3, we start changing the focus point to Isaiah Bradley, and then it's an eventual defeat of...
William.
Yeah.
But what I mean is, like, in films like this, it's leading up to some kind of event where all that kind of culminates. And I'm trying to think, like, if we're doing such a historical film, it will probably have to be in quite an iconic historical way.
I agree. Okay, so we start in 1952 with him in college, right?
Yeah.
But we can obviously move that around if it suits our purpose.
It's somewhere in the 50s.
What are some major events that would be within a 10 to 20 year time frame?
The
Bay of Pigs.
Brown versus something, if we want to talk about the...
Bay of Pigs would actually be a really interesting place to have the Winter Soldier fight.
Yeah.
Because that is basically just a place where America completely failed. Contrary to Call of Duty Black Ops 1, but...
No, you're absolutely... American history... 60. So we'd be more in the 60s.
I reckon we move it all a bit to the 60s.
No, I think he trained... He can train for a long time
in the 50s, and then the Bay of Pigs is like, this is your moment, son. This is where you prove to us that you can.
Schools will be desegregating about a couple years after he graduates.
Right.
That's also worth thinking about. Yeah.
Wait, when does that truly start happening?
Brown v. Board was in 53 or 54, I think.
Okay. And so he's 52. I just say, like, move it up. Like, having graduated at 57 or something.
I thought you were going to say move up.
Oh, I was going to say...
No, don't alter literal history of the civil rights. Alter his weird little character.
I was going to say, his experience of graduating and then turning around and seeing that, like, schools drastically changing already behind him.
Yeah, he made it to graduation.
He made it to graduation.
I don't know what that means.
It's the Kanye West.
It's the cope excuse that a lot of people have online whenever Kanye West kind of has a breakdown online but he made graduation, guys, so it's okay.
I feel like okay, on that thing, it's like people can make good art and the person behind the art can still be bad
and still go separate art from the artist in the dumbest way possible.
It's a self-aware bit of being Kanye West says that he loves Hitler and everyone's like, but guys, please remember that he made graduation. It was still
he made a bop.
I mean, the Kanye West that made graduation, I don't think would have agreed with the current day Kanye West anyway, but that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
That tweet recently was quite funny.
I have it.
With him being like, see, I was woke too, and then he had, like, it was an old photo of him where he had a Nazi swastika underneath a cross sign, like a no sign, and it says, like, say no to Nazis or something on his t-shirt. Okay. And then he says, see, I was woke too. I too did not like Nazis.
I hate the word woke, man. Yeah. Especially since that's, like, the bare minimum. That's like,
it is literally
when my dad was first learning, like, English terms for feminism and stuff and trying to engage with me and my, like, the research I would do for dissertation stuff, he would just be like, yeah, no, I think women should vote. And I'm like, that's good to know, Dad, because they have been for a while.
Good job.
And he meant it so genuinely. He was just trying to connect, but it's like that kind of level of good job.
Right. You did it. We
will move on from this, but, like, the problem with woke stuff is that it means something different to every single person that's talking about it.
Yeah.
And then if you ask any person, they can't actually fully describe what it means because it is such a meaningless word.
There's no honest conversation about what it means. It's literally just that thing is buzzword.
Yeah.
And then,
I love how serious and political I've made this episode, and at the end of this I'm gonna be like, listen to my fucking podcast where we
about
take Pixar's Cars and we
need to make a deeply political Cars episode for no reason.
Oh, 1,000.
It needs to happen.
Guys,
Cars, but it's the Bay of
Pigs. On your own time, guys. On your own time. But I do not want to be present for any Cars discussions, alright?
You will.
So anyway,
we're gonna kidnap Tom.
Teslas, am I right?
Surprise, Tom! This has been a Saturday Night Drive recording this whole time.
No,
that would be
an amazing twist. I just play all the music.
He's actually like turned his brain off. He's just gonna put. Right, where were we with the actual thing? So
this is why you guys can't keep doing this.
Shut up, Tom.
No, it's good content.
Yeah, it's having fun.
It's content.
No, I'm sorry, we're having fun. Whereas...
Okay. Having the wrong kind of fun.
But we haven't said anything funny in so long.
I love how
I'm
trying to get us back on track, and then Tom has interrupted me twice on my attempt to get us back on track. We have to make
this funny, or no one's gonna watch this fucking film.
That's so true.
So we need to tie it to a real historical event.
That's what I was about to say.
Wait. That's what I said.
And it needs to fail, and it needs to be in the early 60s.
Yes. The Bay of Pigs.
President Kennedy's assassination.
I knew it. I knew he was going to mention the assassination.
We have the Winter Soldier killed Kennedy. The Winter Soldier killed Kennedy.
No. I want the Bay of Pigs to be there, and I want Kennedy's assassination to be there.
We can't have both. That's too much. That people will be like, it's too much about American like rights and history and stuff. We can't overdo it.
The Bay of Pigs is better.
I actually would go JFK. I think Bay of Pigs is too not controversial, but it is a very conflicting thing to discuss, and I agree in terms of the Americans failing. But to be fair, they failed to keep their president alive.
I think here's my reason as to why I think it's a better one, and I think it's mostly that in terms of viability, in terms of what you can say, my brain's freezing, but I have a good point up here in my head. I promise you, right? So it's not on American soil. Right. So they have more of a way to bullshit it.
Right.
So him failing with Winter Soldier has more legs because he can just talk shit.
But the Bay of Pigs was a very public disaster.
It is, but it's at least not on Americans.
The Americans all knew that it was a very public disaster.
For sure. Yeah, I guess.
It's one of these things where...
It is definitely, that was a failure, yeah.
I think that what we can do...
Also, I don't really want to discuss, Castro and stuff when his that isn't as much of a none of this is black and white, but it's more of a case of we're touching on way too many politics that we do not have the ability
if Black
to touch
Ops
on.
Could do it, anyone can do it.
I don't want to be compared to Black Ops.
Guys, it was a body double. Yeah, it was a body double, and you find this out in 10 minutes, and he's like,
at least JFK has been joked on and bastardized in media for long enough that the MCU talking about the JFK assassination is just funny.
I mean, the X-Men literally was I was trying to curve the bullet away from...
I love the idea. Wait, what if we tied this into X-Men and it's 15 different characters trying to assassinate JFK at the same time, but Bucky succeeds.
Right.
I don't think we touch the X-Men.
It's too much, it's just an Easter egg. He's just there.
No, we do have a rule on this show, which is that we don't touch the X-Men mostly.
That's not a rule per se. I don't agree with that. But we don't touch the X-Men franchise
until
what if it's just an Easter egg? What if it's just some guy with a interesting-looking helmet in the audience?
You know what? Okay, Easter egg is good if it's literally just one extra in the background doing the pose where it's
yeah. But the implication is that multiple people are trying to assassinate JFK.
But
and only
it's
one
more
succeeds.
He's in a crowd of lots of different shocked people, and then there's just one guy who looks a little bit like Michael Fassbender going.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Okay, fine. You can have that.
Yeah, we can.
It doesn't exist.
Sorry. In this environment right now, it's 2-on-1. We will have that. We will have that.
Even if you said no, I would personally tell the director
usually Tom could be like, nah, don't worry, because it's 1-on-1.
Here's a token that says that happens.
Those are my sticky notes. Another case of the white man taking from the Indian.
All right.
You're really displaying American values right now, Thomas.
You got me.
I told my sister to listen to this episode, and I regret it.
You should tell everyone to listen to these episodes because they're gold.
Always great.
I don't know, man.
We've never had a stinker. We've not had a one miss.
Not had a one miss.
Pace Pop Pete.
That was great.
Pace Pop Pete was a great
episode.
Captain Britain was a bit of a hit.
It was tough. That was tough.
Captain Britain was a bit of a fuck. What
at least you have good episodes. I think we've only had misses. I should be talking our podcast up.
No,
Somebody Drives a banger.
Hey. It
always
will
be
be a banger, but it's not out yet.
Yeah, true.
It's not real. Let's not talk about it.
It's not real, and it never was real.
I think
it was an elaborate bit that we made
the assassination of JFK makes more sense for something that the Winter Soldier would be involved in.
Yeah.
He's more
that gives him a reason to be involved.
It's also implied that he did do
and we
it.
can and we can do stuff like we could do like just straight up Vietnam.
I feel like it is already implied.
It is. It is at one point.
The Winter Soldier fucking killed. Yeah. Okay, we're doing that. That's it.
And
that's why I kept
and that can be his
it.
first failure. And then we just Captain America gets drafted into Vietnam.
I was like, what if at the very end? I was literally about to suggest, what if at the very end it's like, oh, this should happen, and then the Vietnam War begins.
This is a trope in every single Cold War thing, but I'm okay with it. Because every single Cold War thing ends with Vietnam at the end, where it's just like, and then it happened.
But so I think that by the end of the movie, he needs to be stripped, or he's either be stripped of the title of Captain America. Stop laughing.
No, I actually really like that, where it's kind of. Because Vietnam's also an all-hands-on-deck scenario where they're like, oh, fuck, I guess we will make the old crazy man that we gave serum to.
Yeah.
I guess we'll give him a platoon.
Yeah.
Where it's like...
they can't not.
Because it is literally like, we are going to lose this fucking war, so we might
gaining the favor of fanatic, like, anti-civil rights people, or even, like, him just gaining a fanatic audience towards the end is a really good...
It depends on... His success in the time depends on what government's in play. Okay. So Nixon fucking loves the guy.
Oh, I meant more, disregarding the government. Anytime he does a speech, it's like the similar thing to in Captain America, like the actual one. People love him the more he does like public appearances. Yeah. But with this guy, it's like he's saying really concerning
he's next to a
shit.
pedestal, everyone's shitting themselves.
He's saying really concerning shit, and people are getting fanatically like in favor of him, and it's sort of like. Every fascist rising story
I don't think
ever.
we're going to get to Nixon, to be fair, because we're going for Vietnam, which means that we're getting to Lyndon B. Johnson.
Nixon Vietnam?
Truman.
No, it's
Truman ends. No,
it's Lyndon B. Johnson.
It's Lyndon B. Johnson.
I don't know, man. Nixon. It ends with Nixon.
What?
No.
Does it, or is it Reagan?
Yeah, it ends with Nixon. Yeah.
I thought you meant the movie.
Nixon, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Sounds like someone's breaking in.
I do think that. Maybe not inherently going like, oh, we need a scene with Nixon, but I quite like that being kind of the essential reason why it's new government gone. No, but it's like new government.
My fellow Americans,
goes, okay,
I'm thinking we're back.
Shut up. I'm speaking. All right. Nixon essentially goes, oh, right, we've got this asset somewhere technically. We've kind of just like put him to the side. We need him now for Vietnam because that's truly when Vietnam is crumbling. That's how I think it should
end.
So final acts in Vietnam. I actually reckon. Hold on,
he dies.
No, so who's that? Who's the character? The black guy from
Isaiah Bradley.
Both in the same platoon.
Sure.
And Isaiah basically has to like.
It's Forrest Gump. It's just Forrest Gump.
No. Isaiah essentially has to stop him from doing.
Wasn't he in jail by then?
He's in prison at that point.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
I think that it's worth creating the fear surrounding his character. So he does the like public appearances, he says shit that it makes everyone really concerned, makes the government concerned because he's gaining like a little too much of a fanatic following. They try to nix him, and then Vietnam happens. And then Vietnam begins to happen. And so then that's when they're like, fuck, we have to give him we have to boost morale. Because Vietnam famously is when people started going, hang on a second, I don't like all these wars that people are fighting.
What if... No, okay, but
this is essentially the... all of your... your ticket has already been stamped. Oh, wait. This is now your final opportunity to prove that you were even worth
No, not even that. It's like... Oh, we have to because the people need morale boosting. We don't like this guy. We don't want him now.
I'm not sure... My only thinking is that what if sending him to Vietnam is a way of like the government quietly getting rid of him?
I think that's also. I think there's a conversation about it where they do that.
I think it should be. That should be the Peggy Carter thing. It's like, why don't we just
send him to Vietnam?
Send him to war. Send him on the hardest missions we have. Every single mission.
Fortunate Son starts playing,
and eventually he will die.
Yeah, I think that whoever convinces whoever to give him like authority in the military. Convinces them with that, like, hey, with any luck, he won't be a good soldier.
He won't make it.
With any luck, he'll be as much of a disaster as he's always been.
Red, white, and blue.
So I think that he needs. Okay, so what acts do we have at the moment? It should be Act 1, exposition with the college. Act 2,
Winter Soldier
killing...
so Kennedy, and then the climax, I would say, is kind of the public fallout from that, vaguely speaking. So it's him having his burnout, like, crash out publicly.
What for?
After, I don't necessarily know, but I feel like it's the aftermath.
Okay, I think that's when he starts rallying people.
Yeah. What if as the ultimate?
But that's his
crash out. Yeah.
What if as the ultimate like kick in the nuts that after JFK's assassinated, like only like a few weeks after is when the Russians debut Red Guardian as their they're like, oh, he's like, oh, we sorely like mourn the loss of your late president.
Yeah.
Here's our new protector, super soldier.
And this Captain America thinks that that's his, like, oh, thank God, I've still got my job, because surely they need me around to, like, battle
and then
Red Guardian. And then they're like, no, you're still out, because you're insane.
Yeah.
And then eventually Vietnam is the Act 5. So Vietnam is after whatever Act 4 is, so there is this fall from grace in the climax of Act 3. And then Act 4 is what we still need to figure out. And then Act 5
is I want to know more about his upbringing, because I think his sort of fall from grace bit is definitely him going home and his resentment toward, like, his building resentment solidifying in the environment.
This is great because Act 4 is usually the falling action part
that's
of every...
why I said, it's almost like we both went to the same writing school.
Yeah, right.
Someone graduated a year before the other.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, well...
so him going back to some form of hometown or...
and it's which is why I mentioned the Brown v. Board thing, because the biggest change when you go back to your hometown is immediately going, why are the children all different? Why is the school suddenly a bigger school? Why is this? He is going back. He is a person who grew up in segregated America, going back and finding the first
the entire movie of
desegregation.
The entire movie of Meet the Titans is here.
For us, it's a uplifting, hopeful thing. It's like a change we're seeing. But for him, it's like everything different and nothing's under my control.
Failing, and I am being.
I made a bad reference there. I meant Remember the Titans, the movie.
It's okay. We weren't listening.
Wait. And he needs to have a scene in a bar where he's very angry and he's maybe talking to a white supremacist, and they're like, next thing you know, they'll make Captain America black. And
maybe not that on the nose. But it's just like, maybe there's a picture of Captain America on the wall. It's like how forgive me for referencing Criminal Minds, but in Criminal Minds, whenever there's a bomb threat episode, when they look towards the 9/11 tower, framed picture of the Twin Towers they have in the office. Happens. And they're like, it could be like that.
Could be like this.
But it's like, he's like pointing at a picture of Captain America and he's like, imagine if he was black. And it's supposed to be it is definitely not a film that will get greenlit.
No, it should be, I feel like it should be more of a, what do you think he would think about this?
Oh yeah, that's way better.
And they're all so sure that he would be like...
They feel like they know exactly what he would say, and it's the exact opposite of everything that we have known Captain America to stand for every single film.
That is like the moment where we're like, oh, this guy's kind of lost it, because he's just not got the plot of what his hero was like ever.
And that's hopefully
it's like all those entrepreneur Instagram
audience members realize that this is about radicalization. And about kind of...
I think we
it's like all the hustle culture people that use Joker memes.
Wait, I think we need like a moment. We need like a moment where this new Captain America has an argument with Peggy Carter about what Steve Rogers was, and he just turns around and is like, "You barely knew him." Like, just straight. What do you mean?
And that should actually hit home for Peggy, because essentially,
because she
never got to date him.
Yeah,
and there's But I think it should essentially be, he goes back to his hometown, his views are solidified, and then when he goes back to meet Peggy Carter because he's been redrafted for Vietnam, he has this conversation with Peggy, and it's essentially Peggy going, I was right, he was crazy.
Well, I don't think Peggy should say anything. I think it should just be evident on Peggy's face.
I'm not saying that she's saying anything, but it's essentially you can read off her going, oh, okay.
I like the idea of it becoming no one starts saying anything out loud, but it starts becoming a silent and dread thing towards the end.
Then we get to Nam.
And then we get to Nam, and not only that, but maybe he has like a going away party where he says a speech and he's like, we're gonna blah blah blah, and everybody cheers, and that's the chilling end.
Is it though, or can we have him being killed by Red Guardian?
No, well, I mean, we can
just in case the people who don't have any ounce of media literacy after this profound thing that we've just done with Act 4 and 5, and just in case they didn't get it, we then have...
No, but I think...
at the end, you know, like at the end of Napoleon, they did his last words thing, but at the end of it's like, racism is bad.
No,
And then that's it. That's
wait,
it.
no, he gets shot
Don't
in Vietnam.
be racist.
He keels
The
over
end.
and dies just like Napoleon in Napoleon.
No.
And then it's racism is bad.
I think there is no, but I think
Josephine.
I mean, we do need the Red Guardian fight. We can't just like.
We do need the Red Guardian somewhere.
I think that happening in Vietnam
fine.
could work only because
Wait,
Vietnam really is the Americans going in thinking like, hey, this is easy, quick and out, 10-minute adventure. This is going to be so good.
I do think this is, especially because you've
Black
essentially
Ops map is
established
gonna
him
be
in
great.
Act 3 through them like debuting him after the Kennedy assassination, and then this is his like. Finally, I get to fucking beat this guy up. Who's the other side of the world.
He should be like a young 20. Like he's not played by David Harbour.
No.
He's like a young 20.
Does David Harbour have a kid?
No, let's not do that. Let's not do that. Let's cast. Let's like.
Wow.
All right. Top actors.
Where my nepo babies at?
I'm not a fan of
Nepotism.
like making the children of people play their
I've seen it done well.
Young Sheldon annoyingly does it the best that I've
seen.
So
the one that I think
Young Sheldon's
it's
really
Kurt
good.
Russell and the guy who plays the other Captain America.
Wyatt Russell. Yeah, I know what you mean.
I think I've seen them do it well, but that is the only time I've seen them do it well.
I'm not a fan of normalizing it because I can't imagine how many like parental issues that would cause in a child.
Well, if it's going well and it's healthy, then.
But again, I don't want to normalize.
This is the only way. Yeah.
If David Harbour's son auditioned of his own accord, then I'd be like, this might work.
Yeah, obviously.
I wouldn't want to scout David Harbour's son.
Yeah,
I think we're thinking too much about this one.
No, I mean, look, I haven't worked with children for the past 3 years and not gained a very passionate opinion.
Don't show me actors when they were under 30. Show me the actors who are now under 30.
You could just say actors born after this
30.
year. Actors born after 1995.
Born before. Oh, yeah.
After.
Right.
Before. Genius.
After.
Why are they all old?
After 2000, because.
So what, our age?
So like 26-ish.
20, yeah. No.
I'm being like loose.
Yeah. Stop showing me Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum would be a great
Tatum,
one, actually.
though. Yeah.
Anyway, like...
How do you say, I'm about to make a name for myself for real, but in like a Russian accent? I wish Brian was...
I am about to make name for myself.
No, don't. Just don't.
I am about to make name for glorious Russia.
For real.
For real.
Like you grew, like... Girls.
Oh, we said we'd bring the
Russia, tonight we steal the moon.
That's what they said during the fucking space race. Yeah. We're going to piss off everyone and cancel. This is gonna be the worst aged podcast episode I've ever been on.
Especially after we start making predictions of what Brave New World will be.
Yeah.
Oh god, I have nothing. I'm just gonna be the funny little guy.
I can't wait for Harrison Ford to say, "I'm hulking out," like in Marvel Rivals.
Yeah. Real.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to I do like the idea of the whole thing is just one guy getting his ass beat, like throughout the like we can have him like do really well. I think the way that you do it is that you have him doing like super well in the training stuff because he's physically like capable. He knows how to fight, like all of that stuff. And then, like,
he has no judgment in the field, though.
Like, him getting beaten by the Winter Soldier needs to be more him getting outsmarted.
Yes.
In terms of, like, the Winter Soldier is just that many steps
like, ahead. Like, hypothetically, if it was just a strength competition, he could
win, maybe.
Yeah.
But
then it's...
The whole point of the Winter Soldier is that he's in and out. He's like a ghost. Whereas... he's like, finally, like, I have someone who I can actually fight in a straight-up brawl. That, like, this Red Guardian person, he and I shall meet on the battlefields of Vietnam.
We almost do a faux Winter Soldier scene where Bucky essentially, like, gets the shot on Nick Fury in that apartment.
Yeah.
And then they start running across the building tops. But it is the Kennedy assassination, so he's already had this bit going like, "Don't worry, Mr. President, you're fine. I'm protecting you." And then he's like on the building tops, like and analyzing the situation, and then suddenly, gone.
I thought you
And
meant
then he's
in
gotta run
Vietnam
after
for
him.
a second. I was like, what the fuck is Kennedy doing?
No, man, it's in... And then Kennedy's back because it's an MCU
And
movie, so no one dies.
He's
And
in
so
an
Kennedy
open
is
top
fine.
car
No.
again in Vietnam, just
I think-
sitting there.
I think
My
what you
fellow
do-
Americans.
Wait, hold on. I'm gonna look up.
He's just driving his own car, but it's...
Right.
But
So
it's the same
he hasn't
model
learned
and it's
anything.
in
He's still
non-
got the top down.
Yeah. Kennedy
because
learned
Kennedy,
nothing.
because like I reckon you've got Lee Harvey Oswald still.
They make Lee Harvey Oswald.
What if they pin? What if like the government
Pinned it on Lee
pins
Harvey.
everything on Lee Harvey Oswald?
Yeah,
being
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Interesting.
they're like,
We're
Let's
getting
just- let's
no
just-
funding for this film.
Yeah,
We're getting
that's
no
fine.
funding for this
We're
film, but we're going to
alienating
get
everyone.
a
No one
fan
will pay
base
for it.
of conspiracy theorist people that actually believe that Lee Harvey Oswald did nothing wrong.
Yeah, we'll
And
have
then-
to contact the flat earthers and pitch our film to them.
And we'll be like, yo, have you seen this podcast?
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, it's Marvel. Do we care about Marvel? And they'll be like, just watch it. Just give it a go.
Yeah.
And they'll
They're
be
like,
we
it's
love
better
it.
than,
It gets good
it's better
around
than
the 10th
Universal
episode.
Studios with their round logo.
Watch episode 11.
Yeah.
That's when they really get you.
Yeah.
I said a great joke.
I'm sure I'll love it when I re-listen.
When
Yeah,
Tom
you
listens
should
back to
isolate
it.
it and cut Nat out entirely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Anyway,
So-
so where were we with the axe?
So what? Yeah, what?
I'm still not fully
I
sure
think
when Act 1 turns into Act 2. That's
So
my...
Act 1.
I don't think we have
Act
to
1,
make
I
it
know,
that
I
detailed,
think
to be honest.
Act 1.
No, I don't think so either, because I think we'll shoot ourselves in the foot if we try and make it too
Act 1
detailed.
ends when he passes all of his tests and gets the serum.
Okay.
It's
So
essentially the beats of the first Avengers,
Act
but you
1
can
is
tell something's
like
going wrong.
establishing his life, establishing the era,
Yeah.
like all that shit.
And
Much like
Act
First
2
Avenger.
is serum stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Much
Wait,
like
wait,
First
wait.
Avenger.
What do you mean? Act 2 is serums. Is Act 2?
Him getting the serum.
I think
Are
that's
we talking a
well,
3 or
we're
a
getting a
5
bit
action?
confused.
Are we
We're getting a
talking
bit
3 or-
confused. Okay, so I would say, essentially, from what we've written down, that is kind of the turning point of Act 1 to Act 2 is the serum,
Yeah.
right? And then Act 2 is the rising action of, oh, now I am Captain America, and then
I think we
Act
could-
2 kind of
Act
ends
2 will
on
be a lot of
the
action
Kennedy
stuff.
assassination. So Act 2 kind of is the action,
Yeah.
and then Act 3 climax. Politics happens again.
Are we talking a 3-act structure or a 5-act?
Four-
Five.
five.
We've
It's
been
Nat.
covering this.
But so then what's happening with... Okay.
Let me finish.
Yeah.
Let me finish. Hold up. And then Act 3, climax, the blowout, the crash out,
Yeah.
and then Red Guardian being revealed. Act 4 is kind of the falling action. That's him going back to his hometown. That's him kind of solidifying kind of radicalized views now.
Yeah.
And going, this is what Captain America would want. And then that kind of starts to end with him being reconscripted. And then him having that interaction with Peggy Carter. And then Act 5 is Nam.
Yep.
Pretty
Right.
much.
So... Okay. I like that.
Right?
I think we absolutely need a bit in between him getting the serum and him failing with the Kennedy assassination. We need like the montage of him going on different missions.
Yeah,
and
so that's what
winning.
Act 2 is. That's
would
what I
probably
meant
be
by
where
serum stuff.
the Isaiah stuff is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that would probably be where
It will
the
be
little
when
seeds
key
of him
things
being
like...
having a resentment
It'll
to...
be when key things like Isaiah and Peggy will be introduced to the narrative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where he's like, what do you mean a woman and a black person are
In, like
Or my
integral to
handlers.
my own success?
Yeah.
It's all about me. And then, yeah.
okay.
And I think... I really like Isaiah as a character, so definitely I would see him as a very strong B-plot character that gains, like, focus
I
as
feel
we
like
go.
more of it is that he just kind of disappears out. Like in real life, he just kind of disappears
Well,
out of the story.
He is a hidden figure.
At the end...
No.
No. At the end, when things get more Vietnam-focused, I can see that happening.
Yeah.
But I definitely think up until the point where he gets arrested even is...
Yeah.
Or, like, we even see a bit of him in jail watching
Like,
the
yeah,
news or listening to
Isaiah
the
needs
news.
more stuff before, but then once you reach the
Because he's
point
such
of no
a
return,
good
you can
character,
kind of-
and I feel like if
yeah.
we watch 3 straight hours of this guy being a fucking asshole...
Yeah.
Like I think that's so. Like when the JFK so the way I'm seeing it at the moment is that he becomes Captain America. He goes through all his training, becomes Captain America, gets the serum. He is publicly announced to the American public as Captain America has come back. This is Steve Rogers still. That then he goes on a bunch of missions and is successful for around, like, just under a decade of doing little missions where it's him.
Sure.
He finally fails a mission up against the Winter Soldier, and Kennedy is killed. I'm thinking that part of the crash out is started from a hearing that happens, where everything gets put out to the public. This isn't Steve Rogers. This is like the government.
It's the big reveal, and it's also the thing which we put in there to subtly go to the Marvel fan people that are like, actually, everyone knew that Captain America went on in the ice, and they're like, they're erasing the Marvel cinematic, they're ruining the timeline, and then we're like, no, we're expanding on the timeline.
It's like those documents get revealed to the public. Yeah. He either steps down. I think that instead of
I don't think he steps down.
No, I don't know, because to make him different from John Walker, I think he should step down and be like, you guys have made a joke of what Captain America.
I think which one is John Walker again?
He's the
one in Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier.
Blood on the shield.
He gets forcefully taken out. He has like a very he's like,
I think it's a case of he's given a choice where it's like you can either go back to being a cog in the machine, playing on the conspiracy theory thing, or you can like go home. Yeah,
you can now essentially become middle management without any of like the talent.
So disillusioned with being managed by the government at this point that I think he goes home.
If anything, he gets told that he has to work underneath Peggy Carter, and then he just fucking quits.
Yeah,
where it's like you can be involved. It's just no fame,
but you work
under a woman.
But you work for Shield, and you do what Shield says.
Yeah.
And he's like, no. He's like, no.
Not happening.
Shield's ran by a woman.
I need to represent America or whatever, and they're like, you don't represent America.
Not the government. Yeah. And then, like,
I have the true American values, and the government is wrong, and no one has ever heard this argument ever recently in American politics.
If this was like a sitcom, that would be the joke where he's like, Shield run by a woman. What's next? A black man.
I like the idea that he like
Big Bang Theory
he loses the Captain America moniker, and he's like, I don't need that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the commie smash, and it's like so obviously shit.
I forgot about that.
And when he goes back home and he has this breakdown, he is the commie smasher during Act 4.
Maybe straight up he beats the shit out of someone, and someone else is like, it's the commie smasher, and he's like, say that again.
Yeah. It's just like fantastic. And he beats up someone for no reason in town.
Or maybe someone for like saying something vaguely Marxist.
The suit, like this. Imagine like
hey man, do you want to share this meal with me?
Right. Imagine a Captain America suit that's all like white. The all-white Captain America suit.
I figured at some point, probably in that post like, coming back.
Look at this, not a spot of red on me.
And he's like, it's white.
These colors don't run.
I don't represent the red, white, and blue of this country anymore. I represent the white of this country.
Okay, I'm glad we're not writing the dialogue for this.
Yeah. But like,
I'm glad we're not writing this.
Oh yeah, 1000%. It's a cool movie, not for this franchise.
Yeah, man.
And not for us to write.
It's a good The Boys, like.
It's a The Boys. Yeah,
it's a The Boys.
It's a Soldier Boy movie. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I'll send this off to like Jordan Peele and ask.
But the idea of him being like, I want back in, and like, but I'm not Captain America, and then being like, but if you're not Captain America, you're literally no one to us.
Yeah.
And then having this like argument with Peggy Carter about like,
I quite like the idea that he thinks he can take Captain America away with him.
Yeah.
Where he's like, oh, it's mine. It's my title. And they're like, no, it belongs to the government right now. Get fucked.
Yeah.
So also, he's like, the people will respect me. Like, it doesn't matter what they call me. Like, having this idea
That's his turning point when he goes back home, is that he realizes people still, like, band around him.
Despite the brand. Yeah,
despite the brand.
It's just that the wrong crowd.
It's just definitely for us, we're like, oh, fuck. But, yeah.
But for him, it's his, the people still love me.
They love me.
The real Americans.
If we're talking about The Boys, it's that one fucking Homelander thing of him, like, smiling because everyone's cheering for him.
Mm.
Which you don't know the full context for, I think, right now.
I think I've seen...
No, you have not seen that bit yet.
But anyway...
I can glean.
Does he want to go to Vietnam, or is he sent to Vietnam, is the next bit?
I think he wants
to go to fight the Red Guardian.
I think he wants to for the sake of him, like... He probably he's trying to make it look like he's over it, but he deep down wants that title back.
Yeah.
And this is the only way he can have that title back, even for a minute. And there's also you also get to beat the shit out of the Red Guardian.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a, fine, I'll work with you commie bastards at the US government for just these little moments that make me happy.
What if we do a reveal that, Peggy Carter, at this time, leaks, his location, in Vietnam to the Russians to be like, yeah, maybe just send your super soldier at him. Just stop.
I feel like that's an interesting character thing for Peggy. I think instead of making that an explicit decision, we should maybe just imply that, though.
Yeah.
But being how did they find find out how many men he had in his platoon, and how to effectively take down
even just having a scene where someone confronts her and is like, there's a leak in your office, and she's like, there are never any leaks in my command, and then that she's so certain, though there clearly has been
speculation, but the answer is realistically that she did it. I think we did it then.
Cool.
Other than
done.
Okay, 2 last things,
right?
3 last things. The very technical what happens right at the end finale, post credits, and then let's make some predictions about Brave New World.
Yes,
and then let's call it a day.
So, I mean, he's losing to Red Guardian.
Yeah, but what's the final frame?
So, I mean, up until we decided on the Vietnam stuff, mine was gonna be the sort of, again, not to pull from Hitler: Rise of Evil, but the everyone cheering for him as he makes his very definitive "I've officially turned into a villain" speech.
I think I know what the final shot is.
Right.
Yeah. Have you seen the graveyard for American soldiers? Have you seen what it looks like in Washington?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the fields and fields and fields?
Yeah. So I think you do he dies in this movie.
Yeah.
And he gets given a regular
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
yeah. So he dies, and he gets given a regular tombstone, just like everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just the zooming out of that, and then the rows upon rows of dead people.
He was
and it's he has
just
no.
A guy.
He's just a guy who is forgotten by time completely. Nobody even remembers that Captain America was really about.
Yeah, I quite like that.
Oh, just his real name, not even any.
Yeah, it doesn't say Captain. It just says William Burnside,
and it has the most basic statement, placard possible.
Washington.
And there's no flowers.
No,
or there's a bunch of flowers.
Or the wrong crowd maybe comes over, so he's maybe still got a cult following.
That's what I was thinking.
I don't think he even had. I think the sadder part.
No, because
he's not even remembered by the bigots.
No, because I feel like he's barely remembered, but you're still gonna get the 1 or 2 absolute Southerner people be
no,
it's the commie smasher.
Yeah, while that's
so
true,
he is more or less meaningless.
Yeah, but while that's true,
still,
I think that it's more of a poignant shot of just. I'm trying to find the
It's a thing of he didn't even make the impact he wanted to make.
Yeah.
It's just this is
we know, yeah.
But
well then that easy. We have the gravestone. Maybe someone vaguely related to someone sees saying some final words above it, and then the end shot is a just slow pull back as he joins the ranks of 1 million unknown soldiers.
Yeah.
Because
it literally just goes.
No, we know.
So it's I like that idea because it's a sort of, no matter how much you think that you are speaking out against some sort of weird conspiracy, you eventually just die as a cog in the machine.
Everyone dies.
This is a fun podcast. We have fun here.
Everyone dies is the Marvel movie.
Ultimately, even if you try and break away from the norm, when you die, you're put in the same trash pile as everyone else. Real. I'm having a great day.
Post credits.
I'm having a normal week.
On his grave several years later.
Huh?
No. That's not real.
Post credits. Seth Rogen's character from Eternals.
No,
Harry Styles. Harry
Styles.
Harry Styles, as an Eternal, shows up on Earth and he's like, I fucking like this guy's name. I'm gonna steal.
Funny name, and then he just becomes that guy.
Yeah.
What if the post-credit scene is less of teasing
it's Michael
another
Keaton
thing
again
coming, and it's more like
It's Michael Keaton going, I don't know what's going on, but this has something to do with Spider-Man.
God damn it. I hate Morbius so
I was
much.
Batman once.
I hate Morbius.
Spider-Man Homecoming, but in brackets, it's like of the soldiers.
Spider-Man Return Home Troops.
So Spider-Man send them home.
Bring them home.
Bring them. Spider-Man Homefront was right there. I don't know.
Spider-Man Homefront was right there. That's so funny.
That would be a
a
great like war movie, like Spider-Man war movie. Like
Spider-Man Homefront. Yeah.
What I was thinking was that
Just name this film Spider-Man Homefront, and it's absolutely fucking
I've got it. We tease Spider-Man Homefront,
We
and
tease
it's just
Agent
like
Venom.
like New York is a complete like World War II era style battlefield, and then it's just a Spider-Man running a platoon, and then he stares at the camera and he says, "War never changes," and then you cut to black.
I hate you.
And then what's the brave new...
And then the
I'm
song
glad
that
we
plays
covered
at the
that,
end
guys.
is like...
What's the brave new world?
We're not fucking done yet. That was not a real answer.
No, we're doing the brave new world bit now. We're moving on.
No, fuck off. That was not a real post-credit scene. That's like bullshit.
No, that was great.
No, that was great.
Imagine going through that whole movie of like, fuck, that was depressing.
And then just Spider-Man is at war.
That's what you just did. You showed me Schindler's List.
That was the most
and then you put an Indiana Jones post-credit scene at the end. That's what you did.
I'm not even going to say
I mean, they both have Nazis. It's kind of...
Yeah. True.
There's nothing to do now because you've ruined it.
I actually think it's more poignant if there isn't a post-credit scene. It's like, no, there's nothing. He just died.
Real.
I don't know. I was going to say, like, you do...
If we have to put one in there, it's Spider-Man.
No.
If we have to
it's
put
Spider-Man.
one in there, it's that grave pullback scene.
I
want that to be the actual.
No, but I think that's the final shot, and then the post-credit scene is like the teasing of finding Steve Rogers in the ice from the news perspective.
Oh yeah.
Wait, no. I quite like because this will be post Endgame that this would get released. So I quite like the Steve Rogers that traveled back in time and had a normal life, just going like.
No. I
time.
think it needs to be something vaguely innocuous in terms of, I like the sort of leading into the finding the ice thing, if anything, because I like it.
Because doing that from like the perspective of news or of like the average person at a bar seeing that, being like, oh man,
the same bar even. That he
the
finds
same bar
at.
like a full like 40 years later. Being like, oh damn, Captain America.
Yeah. Cool.
That's quite good.
Done.
Alright, that's post-credits.
Cool. Now we gotta be silly.
And then there's Spider-Man. But then we're going to Brave New World.
Right.
Brave New World.
Right, Brave New World.
Cool.
I'm glad I got that one.
So as I mentioned earlier, in preparation for this, I just watched a bunch of Skyrim Skyrim videos on YouTube about that one guy that analyzes rivers in Skyrim.
What's that got to do with Brave New World?
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that's how prepared I am for this.
Right, that's what you've been researching.
I haven't.
Alright.
Yeah.
So, so my first theory is that General Ross, or whatever his name is.
Yeah. President Ross.
Get
his name right.
Right, President Ross.
Is this post-inauguration?
He's president now.
Okay.
He's president
when
now.
does he become president?
Just now.
He just gets signed in. Yeah.
He has just won the presidential election.
Like he's been having an election campaign in previous films, supposedly.
No, he hasn't. But no, there was a previous president. There was
but like it's implied that it's been before this time. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna quickly watch the trailer and then we're gonna make predictions on what we think.
We're back, guys. We're just gonna take a quick break.
And then
it doesn't matter.
It does because you don't want the music in the background. You don't want that.
Now that we're back, I think we're gonna take a quick break so we can watch the trailer.
I'm gonna keep this for myself and be like,
okay.
Right. Anyway.
So I was going to predict originally.
Wait, Tom, talk.
President.
Hello.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. I was going to predict originally that President Ross, had already had the Hulk serum before the beginning of the film, and I think that's real because Sam Wilson mentions, you don't seem to be recognizing that your inner circle is already corrupt.
Right.
I think President Ross knows full well that his inner circle is corrupt, supposedly, and that that's all part of his master plan or whatever. And Giancarlo is one of those people in his inside plan.
I think that he gets it in the movie, and I think that he gets it by almost being assassinated. early on in the film.
And then that's his solution.
And then
I will do.
They're like,
serum.
oh shit, super soldier serum. And then it's corrupted in some way and turns him into a Hulk.
Yeah, and he's commie colors.
Yeah,
so true. I do think he's got an inner circle before the beginning of the movie.
Oh yeah,
and he's kind of playing dumb. Because General Ross is like that before he becomes President Ross. And Giancarlo is definitely part of it, and I think he wants Sam to be another part of that. He wants Captain America inside of that inner circle, whatever that inner circle is. And it's more just, oh, you're not playing with me. Now I kill you because you're becoming a problem.
I don't know, because I feel like Sam in this movie might be playing ball with Ross for a big chunk of this film.
I think it's originally, and it's because President Ross is not showing all of his cards.
Right.
And then it's essentially, oh, right, President Ross is a wrong.
But I don't know. Okay, but do you think that President Ross is the one doing all of pulling the strings?
Yes.
Here? I don't think so.
I think he is.
I don't think so at all.
I think he is.
I think he's an I think he's an incidental bad guy.
I think he is genuinely going to be the bad guy.
I think they've too blatantly made him part of the poster for him to be the bad guy.
I don't know.
Just based on how Marvel films work.
I think there's like another. I mean, to be fair, I do know one spoiler.
I'm not say it then.
I'm not going to say, but like I do think that there is someone else.
Okay.
I think there's another Zemo type character from Civil War.
Interesting.
Who is pulling the strings.
I thought it was going to be like related to the end of Winter Soldier, Captain America Winter Soldier, the show with that lady. Oh god. Yeah, I thought
Sharon
maybe
Carter.
she was going to be like pulling the strings a bit more than you expect.
Interesting.
And she's not in the trailer at all, so I can see.
It's interesting knowing what I know.
Fascinating.
It's the one thing I know something about, because it was leaked. It wasn't leaked. It was like it's actually in the trailer.
I'm so curious as to what Sharon Carter's going to do now.
I don't think she's going to show up. If I'm being honest.
Yeah. Okay. Because I think her character makes sense in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
But ultimately, she was more involved in Steve Rogers' plotline.
That's why I think she's not.
So I think
the reveal of that was like, she's a bad guy now, but we're probably not going to see her again.
Yeah, it's kind of like here's a final send off of her character.
That's a shame because I thought she was going to be the villain in this.
Yeah.
I mean, this still looks good, but I was looking forward to seeing her as a villain.
I could definitely see myself being like a Marvel executive being like, there are too many slightly niche characters from the Captain America circle for us to really guarantee her being involved. Because in terms of like general consumer mindset, President Ross is already a bit of a stretch. He's mainly being carried by the fact that he's Harrison Ford now.
Yeah.
And then depending on like Sam Wilson is also kind of in that territory of someone that you may not have paid attention to in the original like phases, and then therefore not have as much supposed investment
he gets
in.
pretty
I think he's good and he's got legs, but I can see someone going, it's already too much of a risk with these two characters being the focal points to then add another.
I'm not sure how much that's true, because like if you think about like Endgame, he's literally the first person to call out to Steve with the portal scene.
Yeah.
He's the guy who's
No.
Like,
I get that.
That moment hinges on their relationship working. So
I get you, but I still think that the average person
I think he's more in the public consciousness than people aren't going to be like, oh my god, who is that guy?
Anthony Mackie's done most of the
for the record,
interviews,
I'm not saying he's
so.
in the same boat as General Ross and Sharon. No, he's definitely one step above that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying in terms of household names, he is not Captain America,
Yet.
Iron Man 4, right? He's still slightly one rung under that. And now this will be his like breaking moment where people actually remember who the fuck he is.
Yeah, I really want this film to be good because I really like Sam.
Yeah, I hope it does well. But I'm saying I can see from that standpoint being, there's already too many risks in terms of
anyone that says that Bucky should have been Captain America should be shot.
Oh, that's stupid. Yeah.
Also, he would not fucking want to be.
He doesn't want to be. He should never have been there. And he's serving a far better point in Thunderbolts.
Yeah, staying on Bucky. Do we think he's showing up in this film?
I don't think Bucky's showing up in this film.
If he is, it's like brief.
I think there's
like 5 minute cameo max.
So
where like
one thing
where I think
so one thing that we know is
I'm
that
feeling bad. I need advice. Who do I turn to? And Bucky just so happens
in
to be the person.
Thunderbolts. We know that he's a U.S. senator by that point.
Is he?
Bucky?
Yeah.
Bucky is a U.S.
Okay.
senator.
In the literal
Are you sure
trailer,
he's not just out of hearing?
He has the U.S. senator pin.
Wild.
I cannot see him willingly being a part of the
I can't
US
see
government.
anyone electing him, to be completely
No, but I
honest,
can't
as well.
see him even deciding to be. It sounds like it would be like a very elaborate parole thing.
Yeah.
No, I can see it because it
don't know.
depends on which constituency, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's for like New York, maybe not. But if it's for like Sam's hometown, like Louisiana,
Oh yeah, maybe.
I can see him because he's already he's ingrained in that community from the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and it's been several years. Since then.
I just for sure could see him wanting to like be completely disappearing into obscurity and living his cottagecore best life.
I don't think so because I think that part of him is now. I think that part of the end of that Falcon and the Winter Soldier bit, I will get to you. Is that he...
Audience, I'm holding my hand up patiently.
Part of the end of Falcon and the Winter is that he finally finds, like, that he can have a positive impact on multiple people publicly through the helping of Sam.
I think
Sam
he wants a
feel
mundane
like...
life, and that plays into that. And, and my specific reference that I'm going to use is that one dishwasher scene in the Thunderbolts trailer where it's him just basically making bits of him that were ultimately a weapon, very mundane, like chore tasks almost.
I love when that stuff happens.
That's all I'm saying. I think he's kind of gone fully into that suburban life, and then
I see it as he wants to legitimize himself in front of everyone. Like he wants to be Bucky Barnes.
He's
again.
just a
he
normal
doesn't want
guy.
to be the Winter Soldier anymore, which I think is like part of that would be like I can help out,
and that's partly why he's going to get pissed off with the Red Guardian.
But Senate is like a.
Senate is a big jump.
I can see him maybe being on his local
governor
town.
Makes more sense. Way more sense.
But you have to bear in
something
mind
with a low profile when you've been otherwise known as literally like this ghost entity that terrifies
Senate
people
is a big
for
jump
years.
But you have to also bear in mind that there's been a bit of time since that, so he may have started with that originally
and then eventually
found that like people like him, and he's very popular, and he's climbed his way up.
It would be interesting to see a bit of the old Bucky again. Like losing arm Bucky. But what was I gonna say? I'd say if he's in this film, it is very much a Sam Wilson trying to deal with how do you deal with having a title that's basically just a political weapon. Who could help me with this? Yeah. Oh, my BFF was a political weapon.
I've been talking to about this very conundrum for 6 episodes in a Marvel spin-off series.
Another question: are we seeing Steve Rogers in this?
No, I hope not.
Good. I don't think so either.
Just purely on a money standpoint,
we might see that like memorial.
Not
the memorial. We might see that museum exhibit again, which I love that one set. So
I think we will because I think that they had enough of a good send off with that in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I also think it's too much runtime about Steve Rogers in a plotline.
This movie's
under 2 hours as well, so like it's probably not going to have that.
And I think they would do better if they didn't cover Steve Rogers at all in that kind of way.
This should be
and
his
it was
film.
More like, this is Sam.
Yeah.
This is him doing his own thing.
He already did the whole 6-episode thing of taking on Steve Rogers' legacy.
And the good thing about this movie is that you can skip Falcon and the Winter Soldier and jump straight into this.
You need to do better, Senator. And then the Senator becomes Bucky Barnes.
Real.
And then everyone claps.
Yeah.
And he's like, better Senator? Who wouldn't be a better
Who could be a better Senator?
Right. Yeah. Do you think we're going to see...
You need to buck up. And Bucky's like, say that again.
Say that again.
Guys, do you think we're going to see an Avengers team in this movie?
No,
not like fit like.
No. I know what. Yeah.
Do you think we're going to see like an end of
maybe a post
like an end of Age of Ultron, like
maybe a post credit
scene of like getting.
I don't know.
Basically, if that happens, I'll be upset.
I feel like with all the films we've had up until this point, it just still feels like we don't have enough people to make a new like team up. If that makes sense.
Well, we've got Avengers coming next year. So
that's what I'm curious about because
it's all Thunderbolts.
I mean, we still don't know what that asterisk is yet, so that could be the new Avengers or the Dark Avengers or whatever.
It's a butthole.
It is.
Yeah, it's a butthole.
Real.
We covered that. It's solved.
So you
Thunderbolt's butthole is the full title.
I think that there's a high likelihood that we'll see some form of Avengers.
But like, who do you think that would be? Because I can see Sam, obviously being that.
Sam, his new
Ant-Man
Falcon
is kind of implied.
Ant-Man, maybe.
But then who else?
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange is missing at the moment.
But he
also,
won't
if they
be
do
missing by the
Secret
end
Wars,
of
then
whatever
Doctor Strange
Yeah.
can't really be like the part of the team up because I would imagine he's part of the reason Secret Wars happens.
Let's just cover who is technically around, even if they're
Shang-Chi.
missing.
We've got Shang-Chi.
Oh,
we got
yeah.
Shang-Chi,
Okay, I'd be happy to see Shang-Chi
We've got Wong.
Spider-Man doesn't count. We got Wong.
Hold on. We could still have Spider-Man, but no one knows who he is.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love that.
That would be great. So in theory, maybe Spider-Man.
Ladies and
Doctor
gentlemen, I'm a
Strange,
big
Wong.
Spider-Man head.
The fact that Wong is up there right now is a bit worrying.
But Wong is the most prevalent character in post-Endgame.
Yeah,
like throughout.
That's not great.
Captain Marvel as one.
Yeah, Captain Marvel.
Maybe Miss Marvel as well.
That would be nice.
Miss Marvel would be good.
Kate Bishop.
Especially because Miss Marvel and Kate Bishop now.
It probably won't be like Moon Knight or anything like that. I can't see.
I would love to see Kate Bishop.
Maybe She-Hulk.
I don't think She-Hulk did well enough for them to want to bring her back. I would love to see that actress again, but I don't think it did well enough for them to decide to bring her back.
That's 6.
I think it's very possible that they do like.
It's just a weird. It just feels like a strange team up.
But like I don't think we'll see Bucky.
I
part of that
really
team.
like Florence Pugh's character from everything that I've seen so far.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah,
but I don't see her being an Avenger.
Yeah, I don't see it either. It's more just like I would selfishly
because I think they're making a point
put her in.
Let's meet with Spider-Man.
I think they're making a point that the Dark Avenger, like the Thunderbolts Dark Avengers group is very much separate, and they're like a group of little losers. And that's what I like.
I love groups of little losers. That's why I'm on this podcast.
So that's possible.
Anyway,
is Thunderbolt Ross the President Ross? Is he
going
to die at the end of this movie?
That would be interesting. I mean, if I can see him dying if he's the one that ends up.
I think he's gonna get
Hulk.
I think he's gonna have a full on marveled, and he's gonna get Red Skulled. Where he gets thrown at somewhere else.
Oh.
Into the
I think especially because like you definitely need to resolve his character somehow in the end of this film, but also I feel like a lot of fans have been like, give us Red Hulk for a while, and they won't just immediately throw him away after one under 2 hour film.
Sreg never. That's Avengers backwards.
Amazing.
I see.
I'm working hard.
Right. Well, hardly working.
What does it mean?
Where's...
I'm just trying to think of other...
wait, hold on.
Yeah.
I know what I was going to say.
Sorry.
It keeps happening every time. Where's Fantastic Four?
Oh,
obviously.
Absolutely, we're not seeing them.
No, in Doomsday...
I thought you meant
No, I'm not saying in this movie. I'm saying back to the Avengers point.
Yeah.
They cover 4 characters by doing that automatically.
Yeah.
And that Fantastic Four movie, I feel like, is almost certainly going to immediately prompt what the next thing is.
Yeah, which
just like looking at the trailers and also just looking at the timeline of what's happening.
Oh yeah, by the way, since the last recording,
we've seen the Fantastic
Four trailer came out,
which is great because we definitely haven't put so many different things in the Doomsday universe.
Yeah,
expecting it all to. Do you know what I think? The one thing that we've kind of fucked up with that Doomsday universe
is there's no Doctor Doom in that.
No. We do mention Doom. That's not the problem.
No.
The main problem.
The real Doom was the feeling we had.
The main thing I think is that we never established that it's the 60s in any of our things properly.
No,
we never contact. We always just kind of assume it's a different.
To be fair,
universe.
We still don't know if it is the 60s or if it's like, or if it's
or at least it's themed like the 60s.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
it could be like Fallout.
Yeah,
where it's
it
like
totally
it's present day,
for sure.
But it's 60s.
60s adjacent, where it's like the space age never ended.
Yeah. Other things.
I think we should go over there.
Do you guys want to know what Avengers is in binary code?
Yes, please.
Yeah, go on.
0 1 0 0 0 0 0 1 0 1 1 1 0 1 1 0 0 1 1 0 0 1 0 1 0 1 1 0 1 1 1 0 0 1 1 0 0 1 1 1 0 1 1 0 0 1 0 1.
Is that it?
No. 0 1 1 1 0 0 1 0. Are you still recording?
Yeah.
Yes.
0 1 1 1 0 0 1 1.
Real.
There we go.
Did you end it?
No. So
Can't believe this.
that's it. Ru,
That's it.
thank you, Ru. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming, Ru.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Can't wait to see you on Saturday Night Drive.
Yeah, would you like to? Is
there
there anything that you would like to
you
plug?
just fucking stole my thunder.
Yeah, fuck you, Nat.
Yeah. I'd like to plug my art account at Ruminate on Instagram.
How'd you spell that?
It's at RUUMINATE. I think that's correct.
Real.
You can also just look for Ru
to be honest.
Gupte.
I'll put it in the description.
But yeah.
as well.
Yeah, you do that. Yeah, that's my stipulation as a guest on this podcast.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
nothing else. I'm not on any other podcast.
Are there any shows? There's no shows.
No, there's nothing else.
We got a
No,
podcast that
I'm
might
a
be happening
perfectly
every
respectable.
Saturday,
No, it's
soonish,
nothing.
And it's called
I don't
Saturday
like
Night
cars.
Drive.
I hate cars.
And it's about extending the cars cinematic.
It's kind of the IRL history version of when like a bad movie has a post-credit scene that implies it might have a sequel if it can get the funding for it. That's basically what Vietnam was.
Green Lantern.
Green Lantern. Oh, there's so many films that do it. No, my favorite is Bats. There's a movie called Bats that's about bats. It is so about bats. And at the end of Bats, there's an implication that there will be more bats. And there are. There's a Bats 2.
Yeah, there are two. I'm going batshit insane.
It's difficult to make the civil rights movement funny.
Can we touch? I'm not gonna say.
Finish your sentence.
I'm gonna wait till Nat's here first before I make that claim.
Okay.
Before I make my proposal.
Handing me your parcel.